Stay tuned. Your program will begin shortly.
Stay tuned. Your program will begin shortly.
Stay tuned. Your program will begin shortly.
Now we're here outside the Harp and Habit for the Coaches Show, sponsored by National Colloid Company, Blakemore Insurance, the Harp and Habit, Rokiski, McCune, Wilharm, Blair, SVRTA, Everhart Vogue Funeral Home, and the Big Red Coaches Show, sponsored by Fort Steuben Maintenance and Jim Saltzman. Welcome, everybody. Tony Lelly with Coach Reno Suckoch. Reminder here from right now, 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, and every Wednesday, the Harp and Habit will have 65-cent wings, $10 Busch Light pitchers until 9 p.m., and $15 Yingling pitchers until 9 p.m. So come and support the Harp and Habit. We appreciate them letting us have the Coaches Show here. So we're going to go right to Tony Lelly, who was at the game. I got a few questions about the new Philly game because I wasn't there, so we'll let you start off with Coach Reno, and then later we'll get into the Mooney game this week.
All right, sounds good. Testing. I'm ready. Testing 1, 2. You good? Can't hear myself. All right, here we go. All right, Reno, congratulations. Heck of a game. It was hot. And really, we drove up there, and it was hot in the press box, no air conditioning, but we braved it just for you guys. The first thing I want to start out with is the obvious thing. You all were in white, they were in black. Does the home field have the option of taking white, or is it always by default the
visitors are in white?
The visitors always in white.
In Ohio.
Gotcha. So they were in black. And it was a really interesting color because of the temperature. Gosh, it must have been 100 down there on the field.
Well, I'm just glad you weren't playing for us. You're crying, and you had a T-shirt on.
Very good. So I was very impressed with how they started. I got to admit, looking at them on film, they're pretty simple, and they come out and move the ball on you. You guys kind of traded punches at the beginning of the game. And then you come down and missed a 2-point conversion, and then it ended up 13-21 halftime. So give me a little bit of what you thought about the first half when you came out.
First of all, starting on our own 12-yard line didn't help. And
Right.
on the film, it clearly shows that we fair caught that ball. And so that late hit should have been
I agree.
on them. But our retaliation is what put us back on the 12. But, you know, our player was defending his partner, and that's what happens. But we just we started out with a first down, and then we got sacked and put us in a bad situation. But like I told our players at halftime, as bad as we thought we played, we were only down by a touchdown. And if you look at the whole thing, in 6 series, we had the ball for 6 series, and 7 counting the 3 or 4 plays before the half.
Right.
And we scored on 4 of them. So that, you know,
Right.
you know, 4 or 6, 2/3. That's 66% of the time we scored, and we shut them out in the second half. So
I agree with you.
actually,
Yeah.
and like a couple of our coaches said, we didn't have anybody play bad, but collectively we weren't very good. And what happens there is one guy makes a mistake here, one guy makes a mistake there, and we had 20 guys on those 2 plays do a good job, but 2 guys didn't do a good job.
Right.
So, you know, it only takes one to screw up a play. But, and then, you know, and I have no gripe because I probably made the worst call of the night on the 4th and 3. But I just don't want to punt. I just don't want to give them the ball again. And then we gave it to them on the 39. But I thought our defense played well in the second half. And if you want to know the key of the game, I thought it was conditioning. I thought that the number of kids we played early didn't help us because we had some backups in there early. But in the end, in the fourth quarter, we ended up with, in the last 2 drives, we had 3 tackles behind the line of scrimmage and 2 sacks. So that, I think it went down to conditioning.
Yeah, I think I agree with that 100%. You know, and it was noticeable. Y'all went into halftime. It was close, and then you all came out early. You came out much earlier than the home team. And, you know, Ray and I were talking. I could see the energy on the sidelines. I don't know what y'all said at halftime to get him out, but I think it was like, okay, this is enough.
I had to go to confession after halftime, but in fact, it was cooler outside than it was in the locker room. That's basically why we came out. But plus, we didn't have any more to say. They didn't want to hear anymore, so let's go. We went out and we started off with a forced fumble.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we didn't take advantage of it, but it set the tone.
Mm-hmm.
And got our guys excited. Third play of the second half to create a fumble. And when you look at the plays, we didn't have one kid we had to talk to about effort. The effort was there. Just a little mistake here, a little mistake here, a little mistake here, a little mistake there. And but we got it together, and I thought that we ended up the game with a beautiful fourth quarter, and we outscored them 14-0 in the second half, and we kept the ball from them, and I just thought, I thought we wore them out.
I agree, Coach. It definitely came down to conditioning. A couple things I wanted to mention. So right there toward the end of the third, you had a really great, what do you call that, hitch and go, where he pump faked and he went down the sideline. That was a really big play. But coming back, he had the big interception. Right there at the beginning of the fourth, end of the third, Jameer Falks.
It was the end of the third quarter. They hit us with that route earlier in the day, but earlier in the evening, but Jameer was on that and did a good job. The play that really made me want to jump in the river was we had him sacked back there by 31 guys.
Yeah.
and he still got away.
Oh, yeah.
It was an incomplete pass, but that'd have been great if we'd had a sack at that time. But like I said, we ended up playing 33 kids, and so I thought that overall we had a good finish, and every mistake we made is correctable.
And, in the fourth quarter, you mentioned the scramble drill, and really that's what happened when he picked the ball off. He was running for his life back there. And I think from what I could see, your substitutions with the defensive line, those guys had energy and they were able to chase them around. You could see the guys in the black jerseys, they were kind of hanging their heads in that fourth quarter. And then the way I saw it from up in the box, Aiden Davis kind of took the team on his legs in the fourth quarter. You all playing basically just bully ball. You're lining up and just punching them.
If you look at our lineup, our 2 starting receivers start on defense. Our starting fullback starts on defense. Our starting tailback starts on defense, and our quarterback doesn't. So who's the freshest going into in the end of the third quarter, in the fourth quarter? He's the freshest, and
I was going to ask you, was that a planned thing, or was he just scrambling when he was running? Because he ran a lot of plays.
Well, he scrambled a couple times, but we probably had about 8 or 9 plays designed for him, and in the second quarter, in the second half.
Right.
Not as much in the first half, because in the first half everybody's healthy, feeling good, But I think Aiden is a good player, and he's fresh.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, and he's fresh.
I didn't think of it that way.
In fact, I told him Monday we're moving to fullback.
All right. Well, Coach, I got to ask about the. I think you alluded to the call, the fourth down call. We were talking in the box. You went out and it looked like a stereotypical. Try to make him jump off sides, and then when he didn't, you called timeout, and then you huddled together, making a decision. We were just talking. Okay, he tried to get him to jump, and now you were going to punt, and then you come back out.
Capisce, Coach Dos.
Capisce,
Coach Dos.
Yeah. And I was wondering, was there what was the discussion? Was there contrasting?
Dos.
Okay.
Hard-headed.
You don't need to say nothing else. Okay, Coach.
Everybody wanted to punt but me. I'll put it that way. So
I got why you didn't want to punt. I really get that.
No, I don't even get that. We have a good punter, but we should have punted. With 2 minutes and 38 seconds to go, if we'd have punted and even got a 30-yard punt off, instead of on the 39, they're on the 31 on their side of the field. Right. And now they got to go 70 yards. And in the meantime, they had to go 39 yards. So it was just a stupid play. And if you're going to get on your kids for making dumb plays, then you got to get on yourself for making dumb plays. And that was a dumb play. Like I told them after the game, they saved my head. And
so you're going to buy your staff dinner or something because of that?
No.
You're going to make it up to them?
No.
I'll tell you who you need to buy dinner for is Brody, because Brody saved your butt, right? He made a great that last play to knock that ball down. The dude was open, and boy, he about the biggest plays I've seen. You see that in the pros.
It's a team game, brother.
They get their hand in there.
It's a team game.
Yeah,
we had a good rush
because he was scrambling.
It's a team game. There's no eyes. United States of America is made up of a bunch of me's now, and the only we's left are playing athletics. So we'll stick with that. We played a decent game, but we ended up playing a really, really good game in the last probably 18 minutes. And we had, like I said, we had 3 tackles behind the line of scrimmage. Yeah. We had 2 sacks. We had a couple of hurries, and their passing percentage in the second half was under 25%. So that means we're getting a good rush, and we did a better job covering.
And I did want to compliment you how seamlessly you can go from the spread to the eye. The kids are coached. It's very apparent how you go back and forth. And I don't know your adjustments in the second half. Like your defense shutting them out. It was very the coaching was very apparent during the game.
If you look, a lot of teams are going to a tight end fullback set in some parts of the game. A lot of teams are starting to do that. Yeah. And if they're not doing that, they're running the ball a lot more with 2 backs in the backfield, either with motion or with a tight end going back and forth.
Yeah.
But we just feel that in high school football, not during the regular season, but if you're going to go anywhere in the playoffs, you're certainly not going to do it out of the spread. Not one team in the state of Ohio has ever won running a spread.
Wow.
And you can talk about Kenton, but Kenton had a tailback at quarterback, and the spread's not going to get it late in the game. But I think, we hang our hat on running the ball, play action pass, 3-step drop, and then the last probably 3 years, 4 years, maybe 10 years, we've had quarterbacks that can do a little bit more. So we've added some other stuff. We're not a very big pocket passing team, but we have run some 40s and 50s, out of the pocket. Most of our stuff is play action and out of the pocket. But we've added things that helped our offense, but we've kept the fundamentals of running the football with 2 backs, and I don't think we'll ever get away from that.
That wheel route you ran where Brody decoys across and you scored a touchdown, actually.
That was a switch call.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good call. Good call, good play, well executed. You have
2 weeks ago when I was here.
I thought you were sleeping.
I don't know. I thought this was a Tony Lelly show today, okay? I wasn't sure what was going on there. But he was at the game and I was at the Creek game, so I wanted to turn it over to him.
Well, congratulations to Andrew and his team. And I know he's fighting a tough situation with his parents, and he isn't really healthy. But they've come out of the blocks 2-0, and credit to him and his staff and his players. Just the way they've come out and have dominated their last 2 opponents, and just like to congratulate Andrew on that and his staff.
That's nice. I was pretty complimentary to your offense last year with the diversification. We give some shout-outs to the offensive coaches.
Diversification?
Yeah, man. And how about your defense? Okay, a shout-out. What adjustments did they make or you make? I mean, they moved the ball pretty well in the first half, shut them down in the second half. What happened at halftime?
We just went from a 3-man front to a 4-man front, just walking linebackers up, and just tried to change some gaps on them. But I think the whole thing came down to, their quarterback played every play on offense, and he played every play on defense. And, just the opposite of what I was saying. We had a fresh quarterback that can run like a tailback, and they had a quarterback that ran like a tailback in the beginning of the game. But it's hard for a high school kid in 80-degree weather to run 150 plays offensively and defensively, and to be as potent in the fourth quarter as you are in the first quarter. So I think that was a big part of their. And they had their starting tailback out of the game too. Number 1, I think he'll be back in 2 weeks. But that quarterback, he did a great job. It's just that we have a front 3 now. We've gone to a 3-man front the last few years, and of the front 3, we played 7 kids, and so we just kept rotating. I think the most any of them played was 24 plays, and it helped us out at the end.
That was a great adjustment there at halftime. Let's get into Mooney. They've lost to Menor Lake Catholic 14-0, and Villa Angela St. Joe 38-7. Both those teams are 2-0. Menor Lake Catholic is ranked in Max Prep 72nd in the state of Ohio, and St. Joe's is ranked up to 22nd. So they've lost to 2 teams by a 52-7 count, but I'm sure you're not taking them lightly. They're Mooney. Talk to us about their strengths and weaknesses.
Like I talked to you earlier, as far as physical play and coaching, Mooney's Mooney. Their coaches, they got 3 coaches on their staff that one was a head coach in college. So their techniques and their fundamentals are sound. Their physicality, you play a team from Youngstown, it's going to be a physical game. But maybe where they have a little bit of a drawback is the outstanding talent that they used to have. They have talent now, but they don't have. I can remember playing against them when they had 7 or 8 Division I players, and I'm talking about real Division I, Nebraska, Oklahoma, Ohio State, and that might have been in 2007. I'm not sure, but they had a McCartney that went to Notre Dame, and they had players, and they have good high school football players now, and we have good high school players now, so that's even a little bit. But the thing about Mooney is I give them all the credit in the world for us for the success we've had in the last 25 years, because as a head coach, I knew that if we were going to go anywhere, we had to beat Mooney or teams like Mooney. And the first 5 times we played them, they smacked us around like a stepchild. And so, you know, we just tried to do everything we could to emulate a team that can compete with them and at least make it an even series. And so I give them the credit for bringing our program to the next level. And I'm not saying that with arrogance, but I think that we are at the next level because year after year we're at least in the conversation. But Mooney is one of the main ingredients that put us there.
Very good.
Tony?
Now, I watched a little bit on film. I see what you're saying. They're not the Mooney of the past. Of course, looked like they played some pretty good teams.
Oh, they played. I mean, they don't. If you look, and I can't remember who told me this. They have the number 1 schedule in Division 4. They're Division 4.
Wow.
They have the number 1 schedule in the state, Division 4.
Wow.
We have the number 7 schedule in the state, Division 3. So it's going to be a great matchup, and they're well coached. They're tough kids, and their defensive line. Their defensive line is tough, and they go man to man in the secondary because their secondary. They have 3 kids that have been there for 3 years, and they're going to lock you down. And you better run some really, really good routes, but you better be able to run the ball. And you know, everybody can say Mooney's down, but I hope if we're ever down, it's like they are.
Have you ever played them where they were over before?
I don't think we've ever played them until last year, this early in the year.
Oh, okay.
We've only played them in the regular season maybe 3 or 4 times. Most of our times against them were in the playoffs. And the first year we made the playoffs in 1981, they beat us 49-0. Then the next year we went up against them again. They beat us 13-2. And then we went against Ursuline the following year, and they beat us 13-0. So we were 0-3 against Youngstown until we finally won in '84. But it just first 4 or 5 times we played Mooney, they smacked the hell out of us. But like I said, we just tried to build our program to compete with them, knowing that if we didn't have to beat them, we'd have to beat somebody like them to get to where we wanted to go.
Well, I'm guessing facing you at 0-2, they probably feel like they got something to prove, so they're probably going to bring you their A game.
Well, you know, I really think that your preparation should be to bring your A game every game. Absolutely. And I know it doesn't happen. You know, I feel through my experience, you get about 4 or 5 excellent games out of your team a year. And the rest of the time, you know, you can compare it to baseball, a baseball pitcher. Sometimes you have to win without your best stuff. And I think that's what we did last Friday. We won without our best stuff, and that happens more than it doesn't happen. So we just got to be ready. As long as we can get effort, you know, like I tell our kids, we'll coach everything, but we won't coach effort. As long as we get effort out of our players, we have a chance to win. And I'm sure that our players will give us effort Friday, and we'll have a chance to win when it comes to the 4th quarter.
Well, I'm really looking forward to the game, Coach. Thank you
So am I.
for
Thank you.
being here with us,
Thank
spending
you.
some time, as always.
Is Jimmy getting paid for this? He didn't do too much this session. Maybe he'll do it the next session.
He's directing behind the scenes, Coach.
Yeah. Well, him and Andrew, they've grown up together, you know, both Creekers.
He's got the next one. He's got Creek. I didn't see that game, so I'll be really quiet.
Andrew didn't see it either, but they won.
Congratulations.
Up,
hopefully you'll be 3-0 after this week,
Appreciate
and good luck up there. I'm sure you're going to give them their A game, your A game too, buddy.
Wow.
Right back.
Our next goal is to beat your butt in softball. So
anyhow, our coaches show here, Steubenville Coach
Thank
Show
you.
by Fort Steuben Maintenance. We'll be back. We'll be back after this break.
You know, Fort Steuben Maintenance should be your first choice when it comes to any and all construction projects, whether it's commercial or residential. Make Fort Steuben Maintenance your first call. You can rely on them to be the experts when it comes to roofing, concrete, plumbing, carpentry, just about any job that needs done. Fort Steuben Maintenance, they're fully licensed and bonded and will even give you a free estimate. Fort Steuben Maintenance. You want the number? 740-283-4890.
You're listening to Ohio Valley Sports Online, the sports authority. If you want to get your message heard, visit us on Facebook and leave a message. Ohio Valley Sports Online is on any connected device, phones, tablets, smart TVs. Follow us on Facebook and don't forget to subscribe free to our YouTube page. Type in OVSO. You will get immediately notified the instant we go live with our next broadcast.
Got a sidewalk that needs replaced, or maybe your roof is leaking? How about some new windows? Who do you call? Fort Steuben Maintenance, that's who. Commercial or residential, they can handle most any project, big or small. They also do new construction and renovations. So get a free estimate by calling Fort Steuben Maintenance today and get them started on your next project. 740-283-4890 for Fort Steuben Maintenance.
SVRTA can connect you to all kinds of destinations. Whether you need to connect to the Pittsburgh Airport or connect across the river to Weirton, SVRTA has the connection you need. SVRTA and its connectivity can also connect you to Wheeling, St. Clairsville, Robinson, and downtown Pittsburgh. With SVRTA and its affordable annual pass, wherever you need to go, SVRTA can connect you there.
We're back after that Tony Lully Reno Sucklot show, okay? But Tony did the game, so we wanted to make sure he got all his stuff in there. The Indian Creek Coaches Show, sponsored by SVRTA and Everhard Bow Funeral Home. Coach Connor, congratulations, man. We were plugging for you up in the booth.
Thank you.
You were jumping up and down on a few calls and a few plays there, and I'm sure you had a few ulcers developing, but heck of a game. Just some comments here from me, and then I'll let you go ahead and take over. You actually outpassed them, Starkey, 72-63, and you might have missed a big one. One of the big passes was the Bodo for 36 yards. I think a lot of people were surprised. Maybe you were first and goal in the beginning of the game at the 9, and you threw 3 straight passes and failed to score down there. Normally people are used to seeing you run. Another surprise, last time we talked last week, you told me that East Liverpool exclusively went to the pass versus Carrollton, and they come out and rush for 246 yards, and you actually outgained them in the air. Very impressive. You had 0 punts during the game, and that's really impressive. You moved up and down, sometimes couldn't punch it in. The big part of the game, and we'll let you explicate here right after this, you're up 20-14, second and goal from the half-yard line. And you got that beautiful procedure call going in your favor. Now it's a 2nd and 5.5, and you had great coverage. They threw 2 passes in the end zone, and your defensive backs, you may want to give them some kudos, did a great job on coverage right there, and you stopped them. Then you got that big first down on 3rd down, so they didn't get it back with Zion McGee. So any comments on any of those things we talked about, especially the gold light stand, your defense bent, it didn't break?
Well, I think the biggest thing for us is we were able to handle adversity. Something that we've kind of worked on and kind of plugged over the summer was, good football teams find a way to win. And so, our motto this year was to find a way. And, I thought that, especially at the end of the game defensively, being able to hold them from not scoring, says a lot about where our defense is and how far we've come defensively. And then I thought, right after that, getting the ball and, man, we were like by the time we had a couple false starts or whatever, we were like at the inch line when we took over on the offensive plays. And, for us to be able to get enough to get a first down, not put me in a spot of having to take a safety or figuring out how to give the ball back, really says a lot about the kids. I mean, Zion ran over our left side. He told me he'd get us a first down, and he got us a first down. So I think, that little 2-minute window is, where we're at as a football program right now. There's a lot of confidence there, and the kids are playing hard. And, I think when we needed our defense to do it, it did. And the same thing with our offense. You say, a good offensive team is going to be able to get a first down and end this thing, and we did. We didn't have to figure out what was going to go on afterwards. So, like I said, I'm proud of the kids, proud of the coaches. I think it's one of those games where, we could easily, we didn't score. They took it down. They did score. That could have been a moment there that could have teetered us on a bad way there, and we didn't. We got the ball. We were able to score twice in the fourth quarter. We didn't give up any points in the fourth quarter. So, if you can win a game 12-0 in the fourth quarter against a team that is really good like East Liverpool, that says a lot about where the kids are and their belief in themselves and how hard they want to be successful this year.
I thought your running backs really did a great job running hard. Zion McGee averaged 5 yards a carry, 20 carries, 100 yards. And Pennell averaged over 4 yards a carry, picking up 61 yards on 15 carries. Just happy for your community, the kids, yourself. And that's probably going to be maybe the most talented quarterback you face. I mean, he was awesome, I thought.
He was. I mean, we'd said that, we were worried because he gave them something you don't see a lot of times in quarterbacks at a high school level. He knows what to do with the ball in those RPOs. And so, he never puts East Liverpool in a bad situation. And, sometimes you think you could maybe rattle a high school quarterback, but he's pretty fluid. He's pretty smooth at the way he runs that offense and reads those RPOs, and he knows when to give. And, I think we did a really good job taking away the pass part of the RPO, so he just converted that into running the football. So, again, if he's one of those quarterbacks that can't figure out what to do on the run, we'd have been able to stop him cold because I think he would have forced the ball in there, maybe get a couple, easy interceptions. He didn't do that. But, I thought overall, playing a talented team like East Liverpool and a team that big, I mean, we feel like we're big, and Liverpool was just as big or bigger than we were on the offensive line. And, I think that we matched the physicality, and we were able to kind of impose our will, especially in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. I thought we just methodically took 3, took 4, took 3, took 4. And I told the kids there was no chance of me punting at all, that we were going to do this 4 down, 2.2 yards a carry if we had to, and the kids bought in and they did it.
Well, you told me last week conditioning was going to play into it, and I think it really did. You wore them down. At halftime, Steve Daly was up there with me, and you guys were down slightly, and he was really happy the way you were moving the ball, and he felt good that you were going to come out and pull this one out, and I'm really happy you did. Tony?
Yeah, I'm really pleased for your coach. 2-0 start. I'm sure your kids are really excited. So you got a good Union local team coming in. They've scored 76 points, 2 games. High scoring. What's your take on Union local?
They like to spread the ball out. I mean, so they are a team that will put 3 receivers to one side, 1 to the other, 1 back in the backfield. They do want to run the ball, even though they're kind of in a spread set. I think if you asked, okay, Coach Thompson, I think he'd say he'd prefer to run the ball, but they do throw the ball. Their quarterback, they kind of mix the 2 quarterbacks, number 7 and number 5. They're experienced team. They're I think on the offensive side of the ball or defensive side of the ball, they have 8 seniors. So they're a team that's experienced success. You can see that's the way they play. They played a good Southern local team in the first game, kind of pulled away from them. They played Buckeye local in the second game, pulled away from them. So we know this is going to be a tough matchup for us. We haven't played them probably in 5, 6, 7 years since we kind of quit playing Union local. It'll be our first road game. So we told the kids you can find really excuses. There's no reason for us to go and do anything different than what we've been doing. Sure. And I feel good. I feel like we had a good week of practice. I feel like the kids are trying to build and not go or stay plateaued. They worked hard so far this week, and I think they understand this is their opportunity. We need to get better every week. I mean, Union Local is a good early season test for us. You're playing a team that's undefeated. You can kind of see where you're at right now, and I think we look at that and we kind of embrace the opportunity to go on the road and see where we're at and let the chips fall where they may.
Good, very good, Coach.
How about the health of your team? Vergonia was hurt in the game. Is he able to be back this week, or you don't want to give those secrets out?
He will not be able to play this week. And so we were blessed. We do get a linebacker that we've had out for over a year.
Wow.
Caden Manlittle, who was out after the Liverpool game last year, he tore his ACL, had to go through a long rehab, but he is back. So, fortunately for us, we do get another linebacker back. I mean, if you look at them, one's 26, one's 28, you might even look at them and not realize they're two different people. I mean, they both play high intensity. Okay, they both go hard. They play. They both tackle well. So, we're blessed that in a bad situation, that we do get Caden back. So that will help our depth and help us defensively.
Great.
Very good, Coach. Well, thanks for spending time with us. We really appreciate it.
One last thing, Coach. I just want to say hello to your parents. I know you've been taking care of them. They've been a little bit under the weather, so hopefully they're doing better than they have been the last couple of weeks, and things get better for you and your family with the health of your parents.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been very fortunate that the coaches and the kids, they've responded well. They know I'm kind of trying to do a million things at the same time, and I think the kids have understood that. They've practiced hard for me, and the coaches have done a great job trying to pick up wherever they can for me. They know I'm trying to run over to the nursing home or hospital to visit. So, I'm blessed to be at a great school with great community, great family. We try to drive that home, that we're a family, and I think we kind of lean on each other, and I'm kind of blessed for that. So I really appreciate the effort they've given me, and we're really excited about where we're at, and we hope for the very best. We want to know too. I want to say this, that since probably the playoff game back in 19, this is probably the best the stadium has sounded. I thought in the fourth quarter, man, our band, our student section, our cheerleaders, and our home crowd, they were making some noise, man. I could hear it behind me, and the kids said, Coach, it really did help us. I mean, they felt a little tired, felt they'd given a lot, and man, they said the home crowd was really pushing and egging us on, especially on the goal line stand. I mean, it was loud and it was hard to communicate. And I want to thank the community. I mean, it's hard sometimes, to get people behind you. Man, our fans have really kind of jumped back on board, and I think it makes the kids feel good. I know it makes the program feel like we're back to where we should be. So I want to thank everybody out there that's listening, that's a Creek fan. If you were at the game, thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the noise.
Yeah, I noticed that, and also your buddy John Brody blowing his horn up there the whole game. Listen, you're 2-0. You got momentum from baseball last year. I think you're going to carry it through. I expect you to come back next week, be 3-0. No pressure put on you, but 3-0 next week, and just keep it rolling. Going to have a magical year, get into the playoffs, we hope, and make a little run, okay?
Well, we appreciate it very much. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Thank
you very much for having me. Thank you.
That was the Indian Creek Coaches Show, brought to you by SVRTA and Everhart Bow Funeral Home. We'll be back with Commissioner Eric Timmons right after these breaks.
Everhart Bow Funeral Home, they believe you should take care of your loved ones while you still can. Pre-planning at Everhart Bow ensures that your family won't have to worry about the stress of final arrangements during this most difficult time. More importantly, they won't have to worry about how they'll pay for it. Visit Everhart Bow Funeral Home today and discover all the affordable options available. Everhart Bow Funeral Home, Wintersville, Richmond, and Burgolds.
SVRTA can connect you to all kinds of destinations. Whether you need to connect to the Pittsburgh airport or connect across the river to Weirton, SVRTA has the connection you need. SVRTA and its connectivity can also connect you to Wheeling, St. Clairsville, Robinson, and downtown Pittsburgh. With SVRTA and its affordable annual pass, wherever you need to go, SVRTA can connect you there.
You're listening to Ohio Valley Sports Online, the sports authority. If you want to get your message heard, visit us on Facebook and leave a message. Ohio Valley Sports Online is on any connected device, phones, tablets, smart TVs. Follow us on Facebook and don't forget to subscribe free to our YouTube page. Type in OVSO. You will get immediately notified the instant we go live with our next broadcast.
One, two. Okay, we good.
All right, we're back here. I want to remind people that the Harp and Habit tonight and every Wednesday will be having wing night, 65 cents a wing for wings and $10 for Busch Light pitchers and $15 for Yingling up until 9 p.m. So come and support the Harp and Habit on wing night here. We'd like to welcome Commissioner Eric Timmons, and you hear his name before every football game kickoff, sponsored by Eric Timmons. So first of all, Eric, we just want to thank you for being a sponsor,
Yes,
helping the kids
absolutely.
out, being able to bring our program to the community, and for your support. So first of all, thank you, and we'll let you talk for a second.
No,
there.
you're welcome. Love being part of the OVSO family. I love this time of year. This is perfect out here. We've got
Absolutely,
football
yeah.
all the time. Love seeing all the area schools. And I was just talking about the facilities at Indian Creek and Steubenville, Edison. I was up at Toronto. My nephew plays JV. He's 9 years old, plays for the Toronto Titans. So great atmosphere up there for those kids. Just, it's football. It's our area here.
So,
excited.
do you have a background in sports?
I played soccer, and I was also the equipment manager for Big Red Basketball under, who the coach was, Ray Sucker.
Ray Sucker.
Oh.
So
I'll bet you he was giving you some duties along the way.
I learned a lot, vocabulary-wise and everything else, but no, it was great.
Yeah.
And
Speaking of Ray, it's his birthday today.
It is.
whoa,
Yeah.
okay.
Shout out to Ray.
yeah, happy birthday, Coach.
Yeah.
So, just love sports. My family, my dad loves sports, and I remember traveling around all over Ohio basically to watch things when Steubenville, old wrestling in the 80s. I remember we went to a Tri-Valley match one time. Probably the only 4 Steubenville fans there. But no, that kind of thing. So
That surely has changed, right?
yeah, right. But, just I loved it. Loved the sports. And I was a high school soccer referee for about 10 years. So
You have 2 kids, and I don't know their ages, but do either of those kids participate in athletics?
my daughter's 5. She participated. That's a good word. She played soccer. I was her coach last year. And, I can be the commissioner, love being a commissioner. I work at West Banco. No problems there. But when I coached that soccer team, that was a tough job there.
Is he your oldest? That your oldest?
Theodore is my oldest, and then I have a 1-year-old boy. Okay. So,
Theodora.
Theodora.
Ah, okay.
It's
very good.
Yep, 5 years old. Just started kindergarten at McKinley STEM. So
Tough to coach your own kid, though.
Oh well, yeah, and when they're laying around and.
But 5 years old, it should be fun, right?
Yeah,
should be fun.
It is, and it was fun. But she was more concerned about the snacks afterwards, and that's when
it's not
fun.
about winning and losing when you're 5, right?
Not at all. But I'm currently president of the Jefferson Kiwanis Youth Soccer Club. So love sports.
How long have you
all
done
around.
that?
I've done that for about 4 years now.
Oh.
But I played when I was 5. Starting when I was 5, and just want to give back. It was good to me, and I love giving back. So
what do you do for West Banco?
I'm a business lender, loans, and I work with all our branch managers around the Ohio Valley. So I get to travel to all the communities, and my family's from Barnesville. My grandmother Aggie was a coach. She's in the Ohio the OVAC Hall of Fame actually.
That's neat.
For her basketball, volleyball coaching. So, but like I said, it's been brought down the line.
Well, since you're into soccer doesn't always get its just due. Did want to shout out, and forgot to do it last night, to the Central and Big Red girls soccer teams, both undefeated so far this year in the OVAC, and both boys teams are always very good too. So you're a big. We just don't get it to do soccer very much, and they don't get enough recognition. Those guys work just as hard as any other sports programs.
Those games can be very testy at times. Like I said, I was an official. There's some heated rivalries around here, I'll say that. But yes, Steubenville Central, Big Red, I'm close with all those coaches. I know them very well. They work very hard. A lot of good kids, though, on those teams. That's what it's all about. And, I'll tell you a quick story. The Jefferson County Chamber had an event a couple weeks ago, and it got rained out that evening. And I'm on the board of the chamber, and the president called me, and she said, "Do you know anybody that could help us move a bunch of stuff?" And I said, "Let me call Greg Bowers with Steubenville Big Red Soccer." Within an hour, he had rounded up his players. They move his stuff. Took them less than an hour. And that's the kind of thing it's about. Community and just helping out. Makes me proud to be an alumni. I was on the first Steubenville Big Red soccer team. And like you said, they don't get their due. But, that goes with a lot of these sports. I like the tennis. I like baseball, everything. It's fun to watch. I think they even have gaming teams now, I'm hearing, where they go around, travel, and play games. So things are changing,
There's a lot of money in that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it really is.
Seems like soccer is in certain pockets in the OVAC. Down in the southern part, very few teams like Shadyside, Ferry, Belair, they don't have soccer teams down there.
No.
Any reason why it's so big here in the northern part of the OVAC and maybe not quite as big down there in some of the schools? I know Park is good and Wheeling Central has a team, but there's only like 4 teams in girls OVAC soccer from 1A to 3A, and why, in those 3 divisions, there's normally 30 teams in every other sport. Why just 4 in the smaller schools? Because just hard to field teams?
Yeah, and I think it starts with the young foundation, getting them started at 6 years old and getting them interested. I know St. Clairsville has leagues like that, but some of those other communities do not. So you see it here with our league, and the schools around us have it, but not so much in that's what they're missing, I think. So, yeah, but I'd like to see it get started. There's always time, and, hopefully the sport will grow.
I've got one more question. So I always hear Commissioner Eric Timmons. Is there something, as your work in your work as a commissioner, is there something that you would like to? Is there maybe a priority, something that you might want to talk about, or tell our viewers about, or something that you're involved in, or something that's close to your heart, or?
Just the county as a whole. I think we get a bad rap sometimes as a county. There are good things going on. Everybody always says there's nothing to do. I travel around pretty much every night. My wife's not real happy about that, but I travel around every night, and I see, you go Friendship Park, beautiful park. You can go out to State Lake. We're here right now. Look at this place, ice rink. What they're building up there. Franciscan's doing a lot, but there is a lot to do in this county, and I just think we need to promote ourselves better. I think we were talking earlier about Indian Creek High School, how beautiful of a complex that is. Steubenville and all these other schools. People aren't going to want to move to this community without our education, our schools being good. So, but no, we are working out for you out there. We're working on a spec building at the industrial park. That's the biggest project that I'm behind, I think, right now.
A spec
building, 50,000 square foot, where we would build the building.
Oh, and bring in like a park, like a business park.
By a business. That's what we're trying to attract a business. The 50,000 square foot building could be turned into 100,000. And then the thought is you get that business in there, use that money and start another one and have a domino effect. But that's a real big one for us. Jobs, of course, that's what we want around here. And keep our youth in the area. That's important to me. So that's another reason I really, like to be involved with the kids.
Very good. Very good.
Well, Eric, we want to thank you for coming, number one, and showed us the non-political side of you. You really care about the community, which we appreciate. We appreciate your support on OVSO, and we hope things go well for you and these projects get approved that you're trying to push through. And we thank you for that athletic support. And go soccer, right? Go soccer.
Hey, soccer. Hey, check those games out. Good ones.
Yeah, it's good to hear your Commissioner Eric Timmons. I hear it all the time. I'm glad we finally got to meet.
Yeah, nice meeting you, and yeah, thanks for all you do covering the game. So love
All
it.
right, Eric. Well, thank you. So this was Eric Timmons, and this special part of the Coaches Show was brought to you by Commissioner Eric Timmons. So we'll be back after this break with Steve Daly replacing me and Frank Sassini from Weir High, and yet to go, Eric Meeks and Weirton Madonna will be coming in, McCune. So we still got a long night to go here. So thanks again for coming, Eric.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
God bless you, Eric. Thank you.
Blakemore Insurance Agency is exclusive to the senior market. We represent a variety of Medicare supplements or Medicare Advantage plans, giving us the ability to offer some of the most competitive products from the top insurance companies in our country. Our loyalty lies with you, our customer, not the insurance company. Many of today's seniors are completely overwhelmed with turning 65 and going on to Medicare. Call Blakemore Insurance Agency today for more information. 304-723-0909. Blakemore Insurance Agency is a proud sponsor of this broadcast.
You're listening to Ohio Valley Sports Online, the sports authority. If you want to get your message heard, visit us on Facebook and leave a message. Ohio Valley Sports Online is on any connected device, phones, tablets, smart TVs. Follow us on Facebook and don't forget to subscribe free to our YouTube page. Type in OVSO. You will get immediately notified the instant we go live with our next broadcast.
Ohio Valley Sports Online is your sports authority. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Live streaming high school and NCAA sports, plus weekly football coaches shows right here on Ohio Valley Sports Online.
Blakemore Insurance Agency is exclusive to the senior market. We represent a variety of Medicare supplements or Medicare Advantage plans, giving us the ability to offer some of the most competitive products from the top insurance companies in our country. Our loyalty lies with you, our customer, not the insurance company. Many of today's seniors are completely overwhelmed with turning 65 and going on to Medicare. Call Blakemore Insurance Agency today for more information. 304-723-0909. Blakemore Insurance Agency is a proud sponsor of this broadcast.
Cavapoo. All right, welcome back here to the Harp and Habit live to Ohio Valley Sports Online Coaches Show. Wanted to mention before we continue on, Harp and Habit's Wing Night. It's every Wednesday, 6 to 10 p.m., 65-cent wings. They got buffalo hot, mild, hot honey garlic, blazing barbecue, sweet jalapeno parm, hot honey Caribbean jerk, boom boom, sweet barbecue, teriyaki, honey mustard, garlic parm, lemon pepper, and they got dry rubs, barbecue rub, and Cajun rub. Again, that's every Wednesday, 6 to 10, 65-cent wings, minimum of 8 to begin your order. Wish I would have known that, Dan. I wish I would have known that coming in, but anyway, we're here with Weir High head coach Frank Sassini, his portion being sponsored by Blakemore Insurance. Coach, week 1 defeated Oak Glen 40-21. I want to start off asking about Lucas McAllister. Had a big night, 17-25 passing for 285 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and carried the ball 11 times for 74 yards and another 2 touchdowns. Huge night.
Huge night. Not to mention he had a 2-point conversion. He kicked our extra points because our Thursday night game was WTOV 9, and our kicker, who's a soccer player, had a game.
Yeah.
So Lucas actually kicked an extra point or two. and he had to scoop and score on defense.
Yeah.
So it was an exceptional night for Lucas. So
yeah,
we were ecstatic when we saw that. And then I don't even know the exact amount of points he accounted for himself, but it was fun to watch.
It was a great game for the first game too, right? Welcome to Weir High.
Yeah, for him, he
him.
had a lot of family there in the crowd, and was welcome back to Weir. And for him, it was an exciting night for him for many reasons. And it was I always talk about the payday with the boys, and that was his payday for all the work and all the things he's done in his career to get to that point. And to start off the season that way for him in his senior year, and for us to kick off the year was really special.
Well, it was wonderful watching him.
So the offense coach led by him totaled 416 yards.
Oh, before you go on, we got to congratulate you on the Hamill Trophy.
Yeah, we retired the Carl Hamill Trophy now, and we get to put it there in the trophy case, and we've won that a few times now, and we're happy to have that thing in the trophy case with all the others, and that's something that this senior group can. Hang on their hats where that's with them forever. They can always say they retired that this year for us here at the school. So thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I just wanted to touch, Coach, on the 416 total yards of offense. Very, very balanced. You had 25 carries offensively, 25 pass attempts. So out of 50 plays, 50-50 run pass.
Yeah.
Again, you totaled 285 through the air to 5 different receivers.
I was just going to say that for sure.
And the ground game totaled 131. So very, very balanced. Talk about that balance. Talk about some of those playmakers you got.
Well, Demir Mauter was one of those kids that stepped up, and I think the touchdown to put us up for good, he was a little bit banged up, and he asked if he can go for one more play, and we were like, okay. We checked with the trainers and John Hollister to make sure everything was okay. And he
come out limping.
I said, give me one play, and it was a vertical shot. It was a big play to really put us up 2 touchdowns there late in the third into the fourth. And, Lucas once again hit him in stride. It was a really great effort by our offensive line. To put up those kind of yards, you got to have protection. So Coach Fetty and Coach Taylor did a great job with them with the plan to get them where they needed to be. And, some of those plays did come off of some scramble situations where Lucas was Lucas, and he was very patient and kind of, extended plays at times and got out there. And our receivers did a great job too, making some catches. Like I said, and, Coach Jason Engel was really influential in some of that stuff. So it was a complete effort with everybody when it come down to how that all happened. To put numbers up like that, it's basically because of the hard work of everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.
You work on the scramble drill much?
We actually do. We hit some scramble drill. It's just part of it. That it's not always going to be perfect. And sometimes it does break down, and to have a kid that can run and scramble and do that, we worked on, the linemen staying, in place so they don't go downfield. We did have one scenario where we did have a lineman downfield, but that was some of the mistakes that kind of happened with our young kids.
Sure.
And maybe there's a communication issue, so that may have happened too. But, all in all, as much as we moved around the pocket, it was pretty clean at times. And, our receivers did a good job finding those windows for Lucas to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So, first game of the season, defense got a little slow start.
Mm-hmm.
Hats off to Oak Glen. They executed the wing T really well.
They did.
And, that to execute an offense like that's a real big equalizer. When you don't have, he's got a very young team. And it puts you in some adverse situations at times. Talk about your preparations for the wing T and what you saw with your defense.
Well, the first thing is the premise of getting ready for that wing T. It's really hard to get your scout team ready for something like that. So there are, scenarios we stole that we've done for years is we don't really use a handoff with the quarterback because it's too much. They don't understand all that. So all the misdirection is something that we try to show the defense throughout the week, but it's hard to simulate. So that was really a thing.
You mean like to go without a football? Or?
Well, yeah. Well, to get the kids to do the actions of that wing tee, because it's a rare system. So that's one thing that's a challenge for all of us that are defending that stuff is, how do you prepare for it? Mm-hmm. And you could talk about all you want, but until you see it, and adjusting the fronts and calling out stuff. So, those are some growing pains we went through. I don't think we did a great job, and I put that on me with our tackling has to be cleaned up, so there were some, busted plays at times, and maybe some guys leaked through some areas that maybe would be there, starting this week moving forward because of the things we addressed watching film. But, all in all, we did a great job, though, in some facets of it. We actually do practice, since you brought up the scramble, defensively. We do practice turnover drills. We have turnover circuit, and that really paid some dividends for us in the game. And we felt like we could have had 2 more. There was a fumble we thought we had early in the game, and a few others that were there. But I think we had 5 total. One of them a scoop and score, like we had mentioned. Yeah. So we were happy with some of the things we harp about, and it's not always going to come true in that game. But we did see flashes of things we liked, throughout the process.
I was looking at your schedule. This will probably play dividends for you coming up. You've got actually 2 more wing T teams, right? With Frankfurt and Kaiser coming up. Yeah. And so you'll be able to, maybe your scout team will get a little more comfortable and will help you a little bit more as you go forward.
Right. And we do have a great asset in the building. Ted Arnaud is a wing T guy, and those guys it's like a cult. It's just like the spread guys. The wing guys.
Spread guys, triple option guys.
Yeah, they're all like, you see them at clinics, they all sit together. So we do have Ted Arnaud in the building, who's a wing T guy, and our superintendent, Dan Enich, is a big wing T guy. So we actually pull them into meetings and sit down and actually talk about, hey, how do you counteract this, and what do you do to that and that. So I can't say too much, but we do pick the brains of some of the guys that are within our building that we can draw on. So
yeah, that's really important, especially you got a couple good teams coming up.
Yeah, you're right. And Frankfurt, is Frankfurt strong football. Kaiser, very good football. Yeah. Frankfurt's a team, those that don't listen the whole often or down in, that we played them twice, last year regular season and in the playoffs at home. We got that big win up on the hill. So Frankfurt football is a wing T system that's been, used for a long time. So yeah, that's helping us to see a few teams early in the year that have that, in case we see it later on down the road.
You got them a couple weeks. You got who you got this week? You got
Toronto,
and then you got Creek,
and then we head out on the road trips out east.
Yeah,
a couple
very
hours
good.
Away.
So, looking at Toronto, who you take on this week, Coach, they enter the game at 2-0. They've defeated East Canton 41-0 and Lowellville 57-26. Those 2 teams are combined 1-3. So through 2 games, they've put up 98 points and allowed 26.
Yeah, they put up a few points there.
Yeah,
almost 50 a game. So we're aware of that.
And they're led by an excellent dual threat quarterback as well, Zeb Kinsey. You're very familiar with him. Through his 2 games this year, he's 17-33 passing for 388 and 4 touchdowns, and he's rushed 17 times for 83 yards and a score. Talking a little bit about Toronto's offense, led by him. And again, they have a good supporting cast as well. They've got some good receivers in Marchbank and Philby and Fair, run game, Fair, Boucher. Talk a little bit about the Red Knights offense. How's it changed? Has it changed at all with a new head coach, and is it a new system? Or?
No, I would say he's kept a lot of that the same, and I don't know why you would change it. They were 9-1 last year. They were in the Ohio playoffs. They got beat in the first round, but we got to go up and watch them against Lawville before all the storms hit, and it's the same, very dynamic with the names and the talent and the speed and how they do things with the motions and the shifts and the way they spread it out. And their coaching staff does a great job with how they do things. And we seen the same things that we saw last year under Coach Frankie. So it's going to be a challenge. We know it's always a challenge to play Toronto night football. So we're aware that it runs through one guy, Zeb Kinsey, and why wouldn't it?
Right.
He's going to the University of Cincinnati, I believe, and rightfully so. We have to keep, certain guys in check in certain scenarios and limit him the best we can.
Right.
And see how this thing unfolds in the end.
Right.
Very good, Coach. I'm excited. I believe we're covering that game, aren't we?
Yeah, we'll be there Friday night for sure.
Friday night.
Okay.
And Coach, let's talk about them defensively real quick before we go too. I know last year they were a team that got after it defensively. They're going to send a lot of people from a lot of different areas. They get to the football well, they tackle well. They forced 6 turnovers in 2 games. So talk a little bit about their defense and the keys for you facing that style of defense.
Well, they're basically a 3-4 the way they move some things, and it's the same thing with the kids you see on the offensive side of the ball. Those are the kids that, are there on that defensive side. They're active. They're well coached. They get after it. They have great coverage concepts and the things they do. So it's evident. You see in the scores and how they're playing. So it's going to be a scenario we need to just play our, sound-free football. I know it sounds cliche, but I know that's the case. And, defensively and their third phase of this thing, they returned a punt against Lawville. It's just they've got all these gadget plays and ways they shift on their 2-point conversions and things. So these guys do a great job over there. So we got a scenario where you have to be prepared for all 3 phases of it, and I think our kids are up to the challenge. So we're anxious to see how we stack up against a very good football team on Friday night at home.
Very good.
So, Coach,
Very good, Coach.
taking on the Toronto Red Knights Friday night. We'll be there live. High Valley Sports Online. Wish you the best of luck. We'll see you Friday night.
We are not getting a table for Raymond. He complains all the time about that. Not teasing. We'll get him a table. He's always talking to basketball. He needs a table. I need a table. So if he's watching, we're going to get
what's
you
he need a table for? He just
I don't
talks
know.
up there.
I know. He just needs his table.
He puts his sandwiches.
He has extra
all the
sandwiches
food,
on it.
that's right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So we'll have that for you guys. We'll take care of you when you come and see us.
No
We
doubt.
appreciate the support and what you guys do for the kids and for the community and Weirton, and our kids are ecstatic to have the exposure, and we thank you guys for that and how you guys do things.
Well, we
Love
appreciate it. We enjoy
really
coming
cool
over
thing.
there
This has turned
for
into a
sure.
really nice thing. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's Coach Frank Cicini, Weir High Red Riders. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to be right back with Steubenville Catholic Central head coach, Coach Eric Meek.
Blakemore Insurance Agency is exclusive to the senior market. We represent a variety of Medicare supplements or Medicare Advantage plans, giving us the ability to offer some of the most competitive products from the top insurance companies in our country. Our loyalty lies with you, our customer, not the insurance company. Many of today's seniors are completely overwhelmed with turning 65 and going on to Medicare. Call Blakemore Insurance Agency today for more information. 304-723-0909. Blakemore Insurance Agency is a proud sponsor of this broadcast.
Got a sidewalk that needs replaced, or maybe your roof is leaking? How about some new windows? Who do you call? Fort Steuben Maintenance, that's who. Commercial or residential, they can handle most any project, big or small. They also do new construction and renovations. So get a free estimate by calling Fort Steuben Maintenance today and get them started on your next project. 740-283-4890 for Fort Steuben Maintenance.
Thank you, National Colloid, for sponsoring this broadcast. A National Colloid company with over 75 years in the chemical industry can take care of all your chemical blending needs. You're listening to Ohio Valley Sports Online, the sports authority. If you want to get your message heard, visit us on Facebook and leave a message. Ohio Valley Sports Online is on any connected device, phones, tablets, smart TVs. Follow us on Facebook and don't forget to subscribe free to our YouTube page. Type in OVSO. You will get immediately notified the instant we go live with our next broadcast.
All right, we're back here live from the Harp and Habit in Steubenville, Ohio at Franciscan Square. Want to mention again, everybody out there, it's Wednesday night. It's their wing night, 6 to 10 p.m. every Wednesday, 65-cent wings. As I mentioned before, I wish Dan would have let me know that before I got here tonight. I would have got some wings, but that's okay. I'll know from moving forward here. All right, we're here with Steubenville Catholic Central head coach Eric Meek. This portion being sponsored by National Colloid Company. Coach, a little bit of a setback this past week at Strasburg, 34-19. I know from past experience, Strasburg's a tough place to play. They've got tough kids. Their fans support those kids immensely up there. Talk a little bit about the game and some of the struggles that you faced in that setback.
Yeah, well, you know, that IVC is a tough conference. Right. Good basketball conference, a lot of athletes. So we ran the ball very well. We averaged over 7 yards a clip.
Wow.
But it's very frustrating because defensively we did not play well. We gave up some big runs, and through the air, he was 12 of 16 with 4 touchdowns. Now, Coach Kostecki and I scouted them the previous Friday, and they had a real good Division V Rittman team on the ropes late. 50-some kids they dressed Rittman. So we get to the game, and their coach is a great guy, and I look over, and the freshman quarterback that started the week before, and they ran the ball 90% of the time, had a cast on his hand. So, you know. So I'm like, well, you know, I'm sad for him, but, you know, it's Division VII football. So they put a kid in at quarterback. I don't know even who the kid – I mean, I know – you know, looked at the roster, but he didn't play. So he kind of got thrown into the fire, and they started throwing the football. And give them credit. They outplayed us. The team that played the hardest won the game. And I told our kids, hey, if we would have played like that against Wellsville, we'd be 0-2. And if we would have played defensively like we did against Wellsville, bent but didn't break, against Strasburg, there's no doubt in my mind we'd be 2-0 right now. The reality is you play the game, we're 1-1. We did not play spirited Crusader defense like we did the week before and really all season last year.
Right.
And when we showed the film to the kids on Monday, you know, they agreed. So, you know, now we got a really, I think, a team that's better than nothing against Wellsville and Strasburg. I think without a doubt Rosecrans is the best team we played so far. They're going to be one of the top teams on our schedule. And, you know, there's no time to feel sorry for ourselves.
Right.
How similar are their offenses with
Strasburg?
Strasburg
ran a wing that put the quarterback right in the shotgun like 4 yards deep. With a pistol behind, they ran a wing and a slot. They motioned the winger slot, but they still threw off of it.
Are they mostly throw offense?
Yeah. Well, you talking Rosecrans?
No, last week.
Oh yeah, they ran some option, but they threw more than the week before. The week before they ran the ball about 90% of the time.
Okay.
So you know.
Wow.
So. But, yeah, so we got it. We'll get the Rosecrans, I'm sure, in a little bit here. But, yeah, Rosecrans a very good team, the team we play this week, extremely fast.
Right. Yeah, well, we'll go ahead and get right to Rosecrans because, you know, I want to spend a little time with them. And yeah, last week was last week.
Right.
Move on,
Yeah.
right? Move on. I know how I always was after a tough loss. So, Rosecrans themselves 2-0 coming in. Beat Bellsville 46-0, New London 41-14. When you look at them offensively, Coach, very, very balanced. 364 through the air through 2 games, 361 on the ground through 2 games. Not only is that yardage balance 50-50, but play selection, 29 passes versus 34 runs. It all goes through to quarterback number 2. He's a junior, Purdue, 12 of 20 passing and with 8 TDs and 0 interceptions. And can run the ball at times himself too, but they have two pretty good backs in number 1 Zemba and number 5 Ballo, who's only a freshman. Talk about a little bit their offense and the skill that they have, because their running game is averaging 10.6 yards per run play, and completion-wise, 24.3 yards per completion.
And keep in mind the two games they played, we have on film. The scores at the half were like 40-0 both games.
Really?
Oh, okay.
So it was a running clock. Tremendous speed. Number 1's a coach's son.
Okay.
He's a junior. They'll put him traditional formations, pro-con, twins. They'll go some spread. They'll go some trips open. And they just that one, you got to know where number 1 is, but you got to know where number 5 is. Number 3, the quarterback, as you mentioned, he didn't play quarterback last year, but very, 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 very fast. I mean, if they get the edge on us and we don't contain, or if they beat us deep, that quarterback's on the money. So, to sum it up, if we play defense like we did last week, they'll score 50 points. That's how explosive and dangerous they are.
Right.
I don't expect us to play defense like that.
Right.
I got faith in our kids. I got faith in our coaches, and it's tough after you lose.
Yeah,
and
sure.
It's a very humbling sport. I've done this a long time, and you can never be satisfied. And who knows? I would try to tell everybody, here's the deal. We lost a lot of really good players last year, and we have some good players back and some young kids that are really playing good football as sophomores. I pulled a couple of them aside and told them how proud I am of them. But the reality is most of the teams on our schedule were young last year, and they're better. Wellsville was better than they were a year ago.
Yep.
Strasburg was better than they were a year ago.
Right.
Rosecrans is going to be better than they were a year ago. Remember about Rosecrans last year? That was a 28-14 game.
Right.
But we picked off several passes in the first quarter, and they were in a real jam. Now, we did run for like 291 yards last year against them.
Right.
So, that's something that we hope we can do Friday night.
Right. Coach, defensively for them, they're led by a sophomore, number 50. I believe he's a linebacker. And the senior, number 8, Hartman, are their 2 leading tacklers. But as a team, they've had 5 sacks on the year, and they forced 2 turnovers themselves. They get after it defensively.
Yeah, they're a 4-4 defense like us, a 40. They go a lot of cover 3. And, again, they got speed in their secondary. They got a couple big guys on the line. They'll shift those tackles down inside the guard and outside the guard, sometimes heads up. So, our line has to be alert for that, which they will be. And, it's when you look on paper, they're a Division VI school with a lot of kids back. And, the way we played, people may think, assume we're the underdog on the road. We beat them the last 2 years in great games, so, they want that revenge, I'm sure. And, it's going to be a tough one. This is a game all spring and summer I viewed as one of our better opponents.
Do they still play the same place as that old baseball stadium?
Old grass field, right by the school.
Yeah, I remember. And hopefully they got new lighting there.
Yeah.
I remember years ago it was terrible lighting there. Coach, what's the thing that concerns you the most with them as a team? I mean, I know you've mentioned their speed. Is it the big play?
The speed, the big play.
Yeah.
The speed and the big play. We got to keep everything in front of us. Last year, we went against a couple really fast teams, and we were able to keep stuff in front of us. And we got to do that Friday, or it could become a track meet, and we don't want to get into that.
Right.
Coach, oftentimes a loss early is good for you. I mean, you don't really. That sounds funny, right? But it's a learning opportunity. You get some kids' attention, and so I think you lean into that, right? And you get a lot of value out of it on film, making points, and look for a big bounce back,
we tell kids about this, in football that, when you read a book, you learn so much. And when you win, it's like reading a chapter. But when you lose and have adversity, it's like reading an entire book.
That's a great
and,
point.
you know, it's you don't want adversity, but it's part of the game. You know, it's fun when you win. You know, believe me, I had a lot. I was probably happier the weekend before than I was this past weekend. And, you know, you want to get back out in there and compete the way you feel you can compete. And, you know, you want to try. You know, I tell the kids all the time. I told them this again Monday, and they understand. Winning will take care of itself. You know, if you have fun, be a great teammate, be a great person. Practice hard and try to get better every day, and play hard on game night and represent the school well. That's what the people want. And if you do those things and you can win the game, then that's awesome. But those are the things that if they can do those 5 things that I just mentioned, then we can have success.
Sure.
And, you know, some of those things we did. I don't know if we had a lot of fun Friday night. Once they got up 14-0, that was a concern. I brought that up. I know we represented the school well. I know that. But, you know, did we play as hard as I would have liked? Absolutely not. And they know that they'll admit that to you. We got good kids. And, you know, so we just got to regroup. We got to play, and we got to try to get on the bus and dig ourselves out of this and get to 2-1, because it's a very good football team ahead of us. And you know, they're, like I said, extremely athletic.
Yep.
You win one and you won't even remember this one.
Yeah.
That's right.
You win the next one, everything's gone.
Right.
Well, Coach, here's wishing you the best of luck on bouncing back this week and bringing home a victory from Zanesville. And hopefully, you know, next week we're talking about what a great victory that was over Rosecrans.
Okay, guys.
Best
Thank
of luck,
you.
Coach. Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right, so that was head coach Eric Meek of the Steubenville Catholic Central Crusaders. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back with Weirton Madonna Blue Dawn head coach John McCune.
Thank you, National Colloid, for sponsoring this broadcast. A National Colloid company with over 75 years in the chemical industry can take care of all your chemical blending needs. The Weirton Law Firm of Rokiski, McCune, Wilharm, and Blair focuses on helping families plan for the future. The attorneys at Rokiski, McCune, Wilharm, and Blair will help you with estate planning, protecting your assets from long-term nursing costs, and maximizing your income from oil and gas interests, giving your family peace of mind for the future and the ability to enjoy the benefits of your hard work. Rokiski, McCune, Wilharm, and Blair also handles a variety of personal injury and wrongful death claims. Call Rokiski, McCune, Wilharm, and Blair today at 304-748-3200 for your free consultation. Let's go Blue. You're listening to Ohio Valley Sports Online, the sports authority. If you want to get your message heard, visit us on Facebook and leave a message. Ohio Valley Sports Online is on any connected device, phones, tablets, smart TVs. Follow us on Facebook and don't forget to subscribe free to our YouTube page. Type in OVSO. You will get immediately notified the instant we go live with our next broadcast. The Weirton Law Firm of Rokiski, McCune, Wilharm, and Blair focuses on helping families plan for the future. The attorneys at Rokiski, McCune, Wilharm, and Blair will help you with estate planning, protecting your assets from long-term nursing costs, and maximizing your income from oil and gas interests, giving your family peace of mind for the future and the ability to enjoy the benefits of your hard work. Rokiski, McCune, Wilharm, and Blair also handles a variety of personal injury and wrongful death claims. Call Rokiski, McCune, Wilharm, and Blair today at 304-748-3200 for your free consultation. Let's go Blue.
All right, we're back here live at the Harp and Habit in Steubenville, Ohio, at Franciscan Square on what is Wing Night. I'm really pushing that Wing Night, Dan. 6 to 10 p.m. every Wednesday, 65-cent wings. Next week I'm getting the wings.
Sir.
I'm definitely getting the
I
wings.
know we need to have them.
Yeah. So we're being joined now by Weirton Madonna Blue Dawn head coach John McCune, who's being sponsored by Rokiski McCune, Wilharm and Blair, and he's being joined by assistant coach Timmy McCune. How you doing, Timmy?
Good.
Good. I love the shirt.
Thank
I'm a
you.
huge Steelers fan.
Okay.
Yeah. They play this Sunday, right?
Yep.
In Atlanta, 1 o'clock. We're going to get the Falcons, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Who's your favorite Steeler?
T.J. Watt.
TJ Watt, that's a good selection. I'm an offensive guy, but I'm a big TJ Watt fan.
Yes,
so good choice there, Timmy.
How old are you, Timmy?
6.
Do you play football too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What position do you play?
Some wide receiver and some defense something.
Ah, very good. You want to catch the ball, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, scoring touchdowns is a lot more fun. Yeah, that's right.
Say bye to the world.
Bye.
We'll see you, Timmy. Thanks, buddy.
It's going to be a hard act to follow.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Coach, you opened the season up with a big win over Wellsville, 30-28, and what was a comeback win. Exciting game. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we had 3 lightning delays. So we kept thinking we were going to play some football after the first quarter, which the first quarter itself took 41 minutes to finish without delays. So
without the delay.
Yeah, without the delays. So the game was already seemed like it was going to be extended. And those lightning delays, which happened all over the valley, all over the state of West Virginia. So we weren't the only team affected. But I truthfully really think that lightning delays helped our team because Wellsville, they're a very strong physical team. Coach Douglas had those boys ready to play football for sure. And they came out early, got up 8-0 on us, kind of smacked us in the mouth, and we were able to go back to the drawing board and kind of actually put up some fronts and different things that we saw out on the field and our coaches in the booth. So I give my hats off to the coaching staff, and we were able to adjust, and I really think that kind of made a difference throughout the rest of the football game.
Right. And that's a tough thing. I mean, first year varsity head coach in high school and what have you, dealing with those things. I know my first game as a head coach. I wanted to get out there, play the game, get it over with, hopefully come out on top, and you're just nervous about how many different things could go possibly wrong out there, and you got to deal with these lightning delays. So as you said, that was an advantage to you. And I was going to ask the question, how did you spend that time? But as you said, on the board making adjustments.
Yes, yeah. Well, over at Weir High, Jimmy Carey Stadium, they have a real nice whiteboard in there, and we're able to let the defensive coaches kind of talk first about our fronts and kind of what we want to do with our linebackers. And then Coach Comas, who calls our Ross, who calls our offense, he really drew in a couple new plays that we didn't run before, but we put them up on the board. Wow. It was still kind of within the same scheme of what we were trying to do, but we kind of went unbalanced. We didn't run any unbalanced all week. And then all of a sudden, here we go, bringing a tackle over, and because we saw some gaps in their defensive front, we figured, hey, let's take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So,
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of fun, just kind of drawing in the dirt kind of thing.
It's basically what it was.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's to have the coaching staff, first of all, that have the mental acuity to be able to be able to make those adjustments, but then your kids got to be flexible, right? And they gotta trust you to buy into that stuff. That says a lot. That is a first game of the season.
Well, Tony, I think one perk about having only 20 kids, you really get a good relationship with these players. I mean, these kids through and through, almost on a personal level, and I truly believe they trust us. And we told them, hey, we believe you can do this. We're not asking you to do something you've never done. We're just moving bodies, basically. And they took it, ran with it. And
they got to be smart.
They got to be smart. That's what we always said about coaching at a Catholic school.
Yeah.
You got smart kids.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. And that says,
you got to react.
That says a lot about your kids to be able to do that. Just draw something and be able to go out and execute it. I know dealing at the college level. At the college level, we always say, you talk it, you chalk it, you walk it. And if you don't do that, and even if you do that, you're going to have guys going the wrong way or messing up. So for your kids to that is outstanding in my opinion.
There's an expectation of a certain football IQ in order to accomplish something like that, and that's very, very impressive. Very impressive.
Appreciate it.
Now, talking about in game itself, Okay, when you get back to action, so on and so forth. Talk about first. I want to ask about the play of your freshman quarterback.
Yep. So Maddox Bowen, he had I think 167 yards, maybe 3 touchdowns and an interception. He actually had 1 drop too, so it could have been 4 touchdown outing on his debut. We were very proud with the way Maddox handled himself. He still hasn't learned to throw the ball away on any of his sacks. I think he got sacked 4 or 5 times, did not get rid of the football. We played behind the chains in the first half on 3 of those sacks. Those are things, Coach, as you know, you reiterate to a young guy, they still just don't get it until they get into game action. Right. So I'm hoping by week 3, 4, 5, he starts learning, because our schedule is going to beef up, and these guys are going to cue on that. If he's not going to get rid of the football, the teams are going to see that. And so that was probably his one, I would say, mistake. But being in a big-time atmosphere, high school football, playing from behind, Maddox showed a lot of poise and composure. We were extremely satisfied putting the ball in his hands at the end of the game, especially in the 3rd and 4th quarters, to make a play.
And he's a freshman.
He's a freshman. He's a freshman. And he's a special freshman.
Yeah.
So,
you said he watches a lot of film, right?
Yeah, tons of film. I mean, then even our other freshman, Connor Cart, he sealed the victory by recovering the punt fumble. So, I got 2 freshmen that made extreme big plays, and he played defense and Connor Carr for us all game, firing off the ball, getting after it. So I got a couple freshmen that, they're just going to be special players in the Valley.
Right.
It's really, really something.
Now talk about some of the older guys that, really kind of helped bring these young guys along and came up big for you.
Let's start with Mr. Molish. Molish.
I mean, Molish. I mean, he's been.
You hit the jackpot there, it seems.
No, there's no doubt about it. I mean, they when I got the stats and they said he only had, I think, 14 or 15 tackles, it felt like he had a lot more. I mean, he was at least in on every single running play. There's no doubt about it. But Wes, he runs hard. He's such a leader. He never got down when maybe our line was falling apart and they were hitting him early. He's always building the players up. And for a first-year guy to come into a situation where there's kind of been a contingent of leaders and him being our voice captain week 1, I think that says a lot about the character of the guy. Mm-hmm. We put him out there. He was at summer camp with us every single day. Doesn't miss practice. He holds himself accountable. He holds the team accountable. And even times he probably holds us coaching staff accountable. And, he's a true leader. And he anchors our defense. And I expect Wes to just keep getting better and better week in and week out. And he's also, on one more point for Wes, he's one of those guys I feel like that gets stronger as the football game goes on. You see a lot of people who start getting on their knees or getting tired. I'm going to feel very comfortable feeding Wes the football in the 4th quarter. Yeah. I am. But then, you look on the other side, we had Andre Crossland, who he was one of those guys who got hurt right up to our 2 scrimmages, so he didn't get to play against Magnolia nor Wheeling Central. Kid 6'3", 200 pounds. He's a track star. He caught our first touchdown pass that Maddox threw. That actually wasn't a pretty ball, but Andre was able to get off the line, come back, get it, and score a touchdown. And then 3rd and 12, we're in the red zone. I go to Coach Comas, and I say, let's pump it to Dre. And Coach says, let's do it. One step Maddox, and he throws it up to Dre, and he can go get it. You get a 5'10" corner on him, Dre's going to go get the football.
Yeah.
So I was really proud of Dre. And then obviously KJ Ward. I mean, you make any play on special teams, coaches, it can just change the dynamic of the game.
Right.
And he cribbed the opening kickoff to start the second half. And then on first play of the 4th quarter, Maddox made a real nice play with his legs. And it looked like he was about to get out of bounds. And then he took a step back and kind of just snapped it. And the ball went about 30 yards. KJ caught it. And if News 9 or 7 would have been there, I promise you that would have been an electrifying play of the week. Hands down. He shimmied between 4 or 5 guys, put it in the end zone, and that kind of started the rally in the 4th quarter. But those 3, obviously, there's plenty more. A couple of our senior linemen, they stuck it out, played every single snap, both sides of the trenches. That doesn't go unnoticed by the coaching staff. Obviously, the papers and people like that don't see that, but we see it.
Right.
And then Colton Griskovich was the other guy who was a little quiet for us on offense because I think Andre and KJ were starting to get a lot of the looks, and people were cheating to Colton because they know Colton.
Right.
But he flipped the field for us twice with his punting. He had a 53-yard punt and a 48-yard punt.
That's
and it's
really
huge.
big.
Both of them were in the 4th quarter.
Really big.
Yeah. So
special teams play. You ran one back.
Yep.
And then the punting.
Yeah, and I told Colton after because we're doing so much. We don't, special teams sometimes almost becomes an afterthought. You're the dude on Thursday, and I said, Colton, I didn't know you could punt that good, to be honest. so that 4th and 3 that I decided to go for and we didn't get, I'm probably punting it now.
Yeah, yeah. And that's one of those things too, Coach. I mean, special teams are always important in any game, but it seems especially early in the season. Week 1, week 2. If you can get a big play or a couple big plays on special teams, that could really change the complexion and the outcome of a game.
100%. I mean, it's almost like a cheap touchdown. You know what I mean? Get
Right.
you back in it. And throughout the game, I give hats off to my defensive coordinator, the other Comas, Lou. He kept adjusting and throwing different packages at Wellsville. And our defense, the last quarter, we were stifling. I bet you they didn't have 10 yards. And
Wow.
I give it testament to my defensive coaches and the way they continue to put the pressure. And you could just, to me, it almost felt like Wellsville might have ran out of plays, and the game just was so long, and our guys just stayed the course. And as a coaching staff, I'm just really proud of the staff that we have and how close we are and the belief we have in each other. And
So you got you got brothers, offensive, defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Maybe you bring one. Maybe you bring them by sometime.
I've already told them both I want to bring them here one time. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, they make my job very easy. And then obviously the other coaches, Coach Grieco and Coach Acala and Lesho and Myers, and just the whole Madonna contingent of alumni that are around the program. There's names I haven't mentioned. But when you've got good coordinators and good coaching, it makes being a head coach extremely easy. Yeah. So I'm very ecstatic in that point.
Very good.
Coach, this week you got to go on the road. You travel to Clay Battelle. They're going to come in at 1-0 as well. They opened their season with a win, 44-6 over 100 over the Hornets. Going to be honest with you, I always do a lot of research on everybody.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anything on Clay Battelle. I really couldn't.
Well,
I couldn't find a whole lot of anything on them.
Nor can we. I mean, they're sort of in the same situation. I mean, this was a kind of a standing rivalry with Madonna all through the 2000s. When I played, Ross, Lou, my brothers, Clay Battelle and Madonna were two heated teams. Yeah, absolutely. They don't like the Catholic boys coming down, and they're the big country boys that like to smack you in the mouth. And it's always, I felt like you always split. We won 2 of my 4 years. Same with Ross. I think he was like 3-1 against them. So they're just a hard-nosed football team right outside of Morgantown in Blacksville, West Virginia. So they got a good pool of kids that might not go to Morgantown University. They can go the 13 miles up to Clay Battelle. Aaron LePeau is their new head coach. So they got a brand new staff as well. He's their school's all-time leading rusher. He played football at Penn State. The kid, he's got a good football mind, and he wants to be home. It's almost the same story, kind of like I have in some of my coaching staff. He left for a while, he came back, and now he's trying to restart that program. And they're going to play hard for him. You know that. The kids seem to like him. He's already got the whole family talk that I've seen him in some of his media days. But they won 44-6, so they put a hurting on them. I mean, we had to throw our whole piggy bank to win our football game. What we saw on film is probably not some of the stuff we're going to see on Friday. So that's a reality of the situation. We know that. But hats off to him. They got on it early. They never let off the gas. But I fully expect for our team to go down to Blacksville on Friday prepared and hopefully coming out of there with the win. I mean, we're big, strong, and physical too. And just looking at some of the skilled guys on the outside, I see our seniors and making some plays. But freshman quarterback, let's see what Maddox, if he's got it when you got some big boys coming at you. But he saw some good players against Wellsville.
He did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a heck of a Wellsville team. And Coach Douglas, I mean, that team, they're going to win some football games.
Yeah, they're much improved. We saw them in week 1 against Steubenville Central, and they are definitely a much improved football team from a year ago. Clay Battelle's number-wise, they match up similar to you number-wise?
No. They got about 40 kids, it looks like, 40, 42. I think we pulled the roster, and Coach Grieco said there's over 40 kids on this roster. So they're going to have different power segments they got. They like to do a little unbalanced, it looked like, but then they went trips and quads. I mean, it seems like the new generation teams, these offensive coordinators are not just going to play one style of football. There's very few of that out there. I really believe that. And they're going to give us different looks. But again, I think I got the front 4 and front 5 guys that can match with their physicality, and then I got some really good athletes between Crossland, Maulish, Griskovich, Ward. I got some of these guys that are skilled. We really believe teams are going to have a hard time passing the football in Madonna. I got all seniors on the outside that have been playing since they've been sophomores, and that's kind of our mentality moving forward: is stop the run, dare you to pass.
Yeah.
What are they doing defensively?
But right now, it's hard to see, Tony, just because 100 kind of packed the box. They very rarely had a guy out. What we
Or
see
they
on
run a
film,
wing tee or something.
yeah, what we saw on film,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
not going to go against us. I
Right.
mean, we're going to send you trips and unbalanced and quads maybe, and then maybe we'll pack the box. So it looked like a 4-4, but it was hard. It was hard to really dictate what they're doing. But they had a 4-man front. Their ends look like their best interior linemen. So again, they don't want us to get outside, obviously. But we got Wes Mollish running the football, and he's the north-south runner. So I feel confident if we can't get outside, we'll try to hit those A gaps and try to get the ball up north and south.
Wow,
absolutely
exciting, Coach.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's a luxury.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Any concern with being a road trip? And again, this your first time doing it. You got some young players, so on and so forth.
When are you leaving?
What we're leaving right now. The bus is scheduled for 4:00, but we're thinking about trying to push it up to 3:30 because when you get out by Cannonsburg, if you take the turnpike, it starts bottlenecking up there, and we don't want to be rushed trying to get Clay Patel, especially now that we're 1-0. We want to try to keep the same momentum going.
Right.
Or we take 18. I said we'll just get on 18 and go the old way to Washington. But no, I mean I think road trips they're lesser of two evils. I mean, you get out of town. I even said, I think last week, even having the first game at home was a little nerve-wracking for the boys and even the coaching staff. So I think we're ready to go on the road and kind of go down there and have an opportunity to kind of be together and not worry about any of the outside noise. It's kind of just us in the locker room, far away from home, in a hostile environment. Because like I said, it's going to be hostile. And they don't have two sides of the stands. So everyone's all on one side. Turf field, it's like in this hauler. Creek bed runs through. I mean, it's Southern West Virginia football, and it's going to be about 60 degrees, and we're excited for it. So
good.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to represent the OVC and go down there and hopefully get a win.
That's a great way to look at it, as a chance to bring your team together in a hostile environment. In bringing them together. I've never really thought of it that way, in anticipation of an away game to get your kids together.
Yeah,
that's off to you.
Yeah, because our schedule's just going to get tougher, and we're going to play on the road against some really good teams, Coach Meek's team included, and Canaan Valley. So those are going to be really hostile environments too. So it's good to, I think, kind of build it up as far as the competition goes.
Yep. Well, Coach, we wish you the best of luck this week, and hopefully we'll be talking about another big victory and a 2-0 Madonna team next Wednesday. So, again, thank you and best of luck this week.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Coach. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Coach, too. Nice to see you.
Good talking to you, Timmy. So, again, that was Coach John McCune of the Weirton Madonna Blue Dawns. That was sponsored by Rakiski, McCune, Wilharm, and Blair. That's going to wrap things up for us here tonight from the Harp and Habit at Franciscan Square in Steubenville, Ohio. Again, tonight's sponsors for our High Valley Sports Online Coaches Show: Fort Steuben Maintenance, SVRTA and Everhard Cove, Blakemore Insurance, National Colloid Company, and Rakiski, McCune, Wilharm, and Blair. Don't forget Wednesday nights, Harp and Habit Wing Nights, 65-cent wings. Come out and get yourself some wings next Wednesday night. We'll be back in action Friday night, live from Jimmy Carey Stadium, to bring you the Toronto Red Knights versus the Weir High Red Riders. And we'll also have the YSN broadcast of Steubenville Big Red at Youngstown Cardinal Mooney. So we'll see you again Friday night. And until then, you have a good one. High Valley Sports Online, the Sports Authority.